Yo, how's it going? Welcome back. I know it's been a little bit since we've done a deck profile. Taking some time off. Plus, also getting ready for the Baltimore Regional Championships this coming weekend. So it's hard to give you decks that are new and interesting while still playing an old, boring format. Anyways, though, I finally have some physical cards of Lost Origin. As you've seen in the booster box opening, I opened up 2 boxes. One I didn't record. I wish I did. I hit the alternate art Aerodactyl V. So that would have been really cool to get hyped up into the video. But without further ado, we're going to take a look at one of my new favorite cards from this that I kind of like didn't hype up at all. But now I'm really liking it. Take a look at the Zoroark VSTAR, Hisuian Zoroark VSTAR to be exact. 270 HP with the attack Ticking Curse for 2 colorless energy or a double turbo to do 50 times the amount of Pokemon you have in play that have damage counters on it. So if you fill your bench and your active Pokemon, they all have damage counters on them. You're hitting for 300 minus the 20 for the double turbo, but you can put Choice Belt on there and hit for 310, and that's pretty gnarly. Also, this thing has an insane V-Star power in the form of an ability, Phantom Star. During your turn, you can discard your hand and draw 7 cards. So you can play additional supporters and still technically play a Professor's Research all in the same turn, hypothetically. So we're rocking a 4-3 line of Hisuian Zoroark here. Regular Hisuian Zoroark V has a free attack in the form of Void Return for 30, and you switch it out. So really cool. We'll cover why that's good in a little bit. 210 HP in the other attack for 3 with colorless. Shadow Cyclone for 130, and you move an energy from this to one of your benched Pokemon. So yeah, we're gonna rock a 4-3 line of Zoroark. And then, yep, to supplement some Pokemon with damage counters, of course we're playing Gengar. You've seen these in everyone else's list so far. We'll just go ahead and use this one here. But we're playing 2 copies of the Gengar here with the ability Netherward Gate. If it's in your discard pile, you can put it onto your bench and put 3 damage counters on it. It also has an attack. If you decide to play Psychic Energy, you could technically use Screaming Circle. It's not a bad attack. It could be a good game finisher too if Zoroark can't quite get there. But we're not playing Psychic Energy. We're playing something else. So stay tuned for the spice. Alright, we've got 1 copy of Deontay here for Princess's Curtain. You've seen this in the Dialga videos. When it's in the active spot, you can protect your bench Pokemon from being gusted up by supporters, basically. So no boss's orders, and in the future, no Serena when that comes out in Silver Tempest. We've got 1 copy of Radiant Greninja for concealed cards. Discard an energy card and draw 2. And Moonlight Shuriken might actually happen in this deck list. Again, we'll get there. Not the last Pokemon, but we've got 2 copies of Crobat V for Dark Asset. When you bench this, draw your hand up. And the last Pokemon in the deck, 2 copies of Empoleon V. This thing is insane in the current format with all the Lost Engine stuff going on. It shuts off Regis, it shuts off Lunatone and Solrock. This thing farms the ladder on TCGO. It's so nuts. Emperor's Eyes, as long as it's in the active spot, your opponent's basic Pokemon in play have no abilities except for Pokemon with the rule block. So, Path would cover those anyways, but we're not playing Path, so. Yeah, Empoleon though. Emperor's Eyes is insane. And then the attack here is actually the same exact attack except for the cost here on Zoroark. 130 movement energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So yeah, we're playing 2 copies of Empoleon. You farm Regis, you farm all these single prizers, and you completely turn off the Lost Engine stuff. And this gives you a better shot in some of your worst matchups in the form of Giratina and or Goodra. Goodra's actually been a really big pain in the butt, and Empoleon slows them down to where they can't Mirage Gate to get their energy on and start Fantinaing faster. So this definitely does it up for you. Alright, so continuing, let's take a look at the stadium. We have 3 copies of Gage Bog. I'd like to get this to be a 4th. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. But whenever either player puts a basic Pokemon from their hand down to the bench, you put 2 damage counters on that. So that's how you fulfill the attack requirement of Ticking Curse outside of the Gengar to get damage counters on your Pokemon. So you put this down before you play your Bat, your Greninja, your Deontay, your Empoleon, your other Zoroarks. so on and so forth. You get damage counters on them, got a boom, bada bing, and also this also softens up your opponent's Pokemon if they bench, you know, their little sobbles. They got 40 HP left, so on and so forth. Another cool thing to note too is we are playing Water Energy because we're playing Empoleon, so you technically could attack with Greninja if you really needed to. It'll definitely take you 3 turns to get there, or less if you move energy from Empoleon or Zoroark over to it. So that's a possibility as well. But this will soften those Pokemon up for you to take KOs. On its supporters, we've got 3 copies of Research, discard your hand, draw 7. So theoretically, you could discard your hand and draw 7 twice between the VSTAR power and the supporter. We've got 3 copies of Boss's Orders for your gusting effects, of course. And we're playing 3 copies of Melanie to attach water energy from the discard pile to our Pokemon V, and then draw 3 cards. So yeah, we're playing Melanie in here because we've got Empoleon, so Empoleon can attack technically in a turn. If you Melanie onto it and attach a double turbo, you can move the double turbo over to a Zoroark, so on and so forth. Really cool interactions between how the energy can be moved around between the different Pokemon. Really liking that a lot. On to the items, we've got 4 copies of Quick Ball and 3 copies of Ultra Ball. You know, discard cards, search your deck for Pokemon, basics, evolutions, or anything. And then we've got 3 copies of Evolution Incense. Really cool. If you open up Evolution Incense and another Ball Search, you could just like 1-for-1 grab the Gengar and then discard it, get in the discard pile. Another thing too, that you don't want to necessarily put the Gengars in place super early to fill up your bench. You might need to actually just hard bench whatever else instead. So don't go too crazy with the Gengars until you need that damage in play to be able to take a KO with Zoroark V-Star. And speaking of damage, we've got 4 copies of Damage Pump. Move up the 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to another Pokemon in any way you like. So again, you get Gengar in play, you have 3. You can move one of them to your active to increase the amount of damage you're doing with Zoroark V-Star, so on and so forth. Or again, you can also help this set up KOs for Empoleon or Greninja, so on and so forth. In damage manipulation as well here, technically, we have a Choice Belt, 30 more damage to Pokemon V. That also counts VMAX, V-Star, V-Union, if you've never heard anyone say that before. Then we've got 2 copies of Capacious Bucket to grab our water energy. Not like a normal Palkia deck where we're going to play 3 of these and, you know, like 8 energy cards. We're only playing 5 water energy, so 2 bucket is definitely enough. We're not super reliant on Melanie. Again, we're primarily attacking with Zoroark V-Star, but the Empoleon is here to cover those awkward single prize matchups where this would normally struggle. For some mobility, we've got 2 copies of Switch, 1 copy of Escape Rope, and 1 copy of Air Balloon. So there is your switching, your retreating, you're moving around. Feels really good. Another thing too is, like, you know, Zoroark, the free attack, Void Return, you can poke for 30, technically 60 if you put Choice Belt on there, and then switch into Deontay and protect everything on your bench. So that feels pretty good. Another thing too is, like, Gengar, even though it's not like being played as a stage 2, it still counts as a stage 2. So if you have it on the bench and Deontay in the active, they can technically still boss Gengar out. So just be careful with your interactions there. The last 2 items, we've got 1 copy of Palpad. We do discard a lot of cards and draw more cards. So between the V-Star and the Research, and of course the Quick Ball, Ultra Ball, all that nonsense, you know, you're gonna want to be able to put supporters back in. Early game, you discard Melanie. You're not gonna play Melanie super early unless you're desperate. So you just put them back in. That way you always have it for later game when it matters the most. And 1 copy of Ordinary Rod to put back the individual 1-ofs and you know, evolutions, and technically even water energy if you really need to. And for our energy, we're playing 4 double turbo to fulfill Zoroark V-Star and the second half of Swirling Slice on Empoleon V. So I'll get these off to the side. And we're playing 5 copies of water energy to go with the buckets and Melanie and the Empoleon. Not too much. In a whirl, if you feel like you want another energy card, you could cut a Zoroark V for a 6th water energy here. And again, I'm trying to find a way where I can happily fit in the 4th Gabe Jaw Bog. I just haven't gotten as much playing in with this as I would like to have, but it is what it is. But this deck is super fun. It's super aggressive. If you set up well, you're able to take big, huge one-hit KOs on your second turn if you went first and set up, and it feels really good to be able to just like be aggressive and, you know, research and boss in the same turn, or research and Melanie to find your options, and just get damage counters all over all of your Pokemon and just start taking big, huge KOs. But this is the list for this. Again, I'm going to Baltimore this weekend, so if you're going to be there, come find me. Also, by the time this is out, the Gust of Wind podcast for the week is out. We have the new Trainers Guild feature with some of my friends on there, so come listen to that. No Gazer Beam in this episode, by the way. So, but yeah, that's it for this. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more TCG and other miscellaneous random content when the time comes around for that. But yeah, much love. I'll see you in Baltimore if I see you. Who knows what I'm playing? I'll have this maybe with me to play, some pickup games. Maybe they'll do it a Lost Origin side event. Who knows? Maybe we'll hop into some GLC. But yeah, that'll be it. Take it easy. Much love. Peace out.